What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm proud of Frank Wilson and these LSU Tigers. They had an early start. We know how LSU do with early start games. Empty stands, not a lot of fans there to watch them play in a rivalry game versus Arkansas. And they go out there, they get the victory in a close one to keep the Golden Boot in Louisiana for another year. Also, by beating Arkansas, they moved to 6-4 on the season, and they still got an opportunity to get a 7-win either versus Oklahoma or Western Kentucky. Hopefully they beat both of those teams, and so they can get to 8 wins. But I'm proud of Frank Wilson and I'm proud of the Tigers. So let's just discuss the box score real fast. So you see that let me make this a little bit bigger because I can't see it. Okay, so obviously LSU wins 23 to Arkansas 22. Arkansas jumped out on LSU 14-0 real fast. They blocked the punt and was able to return it, and then they was able to score again, and then LSU gets in the rhythm in the second quarter, scoring 16 straight. Arkansas didn't answer. Third quarter, Arkansas outscores LSU 8-0 in the third quarter, and then LSU holds Arkansas scoreless in the fourth quarter. And so, what could have been if LSU would have started Michael Van Buren early in the season, right? Would have started him a lot earlier, would have benched Nuss a lot earlier, or maybe just allowed Nuss to get better. We saw Michael Van Buren go out there. He started slow, but he was able to finish for 21 of 31 for 221 yards, and more importantly, no interceptions. He had one touchdown, right? But he was able to pick up first down with his legs. He was able to pick up yards with his legs. A lot of times, you saw Gary Nussmeier just being unwilling to, pick up some of those yards, with his legs. And let me see. So you saw, LSU pretty much dominated Arkansas in pretty much all categories. LSU had total yards 390 to Arkansas's 340. Passing yards, LSU had 235. Arkansas had 165. Arkansas did beat LSU in rushing 175 to 155. But you saw LSU able to get Cade Durham going. Hollenberry got going, and Jawan Johnson, got some touches. But LSU was almost expected to be able to rush for over 100 yards versus Arkansas, because Arkansas statistically is one of the worst teams in the country defending the run. So, I expected LSU to, have a good day on the ground versus Arkansas. Arkansas had more yards per play, 3.6 to LSU, 5.6. LSU had more first downs, 21 to Arkansas 16. LSU was better on third down. They was 8 of 17, and they held the ball longer than Arkansas. They had 70 plays compared to Arkansas's 14, so LSU was really efficient. Offensive lines for both teams was terrible. Michael Van Buren got sacked 4 times. So did the Arkansas quarterback. And both teams did pretty terrible in penalties. LSU had 7 for 57 yards, and Arkansas had 6 for 55 yards. And LSU won the time of possession 34 and a half minutes to Arkansas's 25 and a half minutes. So kudos to LSU there on, it well. What's going on? Oh, there we go. All right, sorry. But LSU did well, being able to control the ball by, extending their drives and having long, very methodic drives. The defense played awesome. Man, they might as well just give Monson Delaney the Buckner Award already, because, the dude has just been a complete eraser for LSU. They don't even throw the ball to him on his side of the field. And when they do, he's either going to intercept the ball or it's going to be a pass deflection. Shout out to DJ Pickens too, because DJ Pickens, he a freshman, but he's been holding his own all season. Also, PJ Willen, all of those guys have been balling on that defensive side of the ball. You've seen Harold Perkins have some really good plays. He had that interception on the sideline, had a couple of tackles for a loss in there on some sacks. So, kudos to the defense. They was playing up against one of the best rushing quarterbacks in all of the in college football, and he got his rocks off. He had some plays with his feet, but for the most part, LSU made him a non-factor in the fourth quarter and was able to pull out a close win by the seat of their pants. But LSU was able to win that game. Very proud of LSU and Frank Wilson. I think that, whoever LSU hires next as the head coach, they have to talk to this head coach and say, hey, man, I know this is your show and you got the keys to the show, to the program, but you have to strongly consider keeping Frank Wilson, Corey Raymond, and Blake Baker. You got to keep Frank Wilson, man. These kids are absolutely fired up to play for Frank Wilson. You see Cade Durham come out of the locker room to give him a hug because Frank Wilson had got his first win in Death Valley as the interim head coach. These kids love playing for Frank Wilson. And again, I said on another episode, these kids don't commit to, the school for the head coach. They commit to the school for their position coach. And there's no better position coach or recruiter in the country than Frank Wilson. You've seen some of the people that Frank Wilson helped bring to LSU. And in the past, and you see who he brought to LSU now in the present. Cade Durham, Harlan Berry, right? JT Lindsey would have been another one, but JT Lindsey unfortunately got in trouble. And Frank Wilson is a hell of a recruiter. You got to keep a guy like that in Louisiana. You got to keep those connections with those high school teams and those high school coaches in and around LSU. You got to have that relationship. And what better person to do that than Frank Wilson? Same thing with Corey Raymond, man. Corey Raymond has brought, I don't even have to list some of the DBs that Corey Raymond has brought to LSU. Most recently, Mansour Delaney, AJ Harsey, you got PJ, you got DJ Pickin, right? You got to keep Corey Raymond, man. The guy is the DB godfather. You gotta keep Corey Raymond in house. You can't allow Corey Raymond to, walk off, right? You can't. And obviously you got to keep Blake Baker. You just got to keep Blake Baker. You got to keep Blake Baker. He's turning his defense around. I know they struggle versus, mobile quarterbacks, but, you got to give him another year to get more players in his system. But I think if you are the head coach, the new head coach, you should strongly consider keeping those three guys, those three coaches, at least a year. Give them a year. But I think I hate to feel like someone is meddling with a coach, right, or tampering with a coach, but it's like, hey, like, you got to consider keeping those three guys. I just can't stress it enough. You got to keep Frank Wilson. You got to find a way to keep Corey Raymond and Blake Baker, just to keep, some really talented guys on that roster there, right? You need to keep DJ Pickin, right? You don't need him hitting the transfer portal. You don't need Harlan Berry hitting the transfer portal. Hell, you don't need Cade Durham hitting the transfer portal. You want to try to keep Trudez Green there, right? And, unfortunately, you saw the one kid, DeAnthony Lafayette, he decided to decommit, and I think he committed to, Miami. He wasn't there on campus yet. He was a recruit in the class of 2026, but, you just got to try to keep as many of the guys, as young guys that's on this roster right now are playing for LSU there. And I think those three coaches have what it takes to convince those guys to stay. As well as I would like to keep Michael Van Buren Jr. around also. I would like to keep him around. He did a lot of good things in this game today. He started off slow. He did a lot of good things in the game, but he's still a young player. He still has a lot to clean up. But I like the fact that he can make plays with his arm and he can make plays with his legs. Again, not knocking Nussmeier, but that's one of the things that you just really got kind of frustrated with Nussmeier about, that he would just kind of refuse to use his legs to pick up those, I call them those sneaky dirty yards, right? Where it's like 3rd and 5, and then your quarterback just runs up the middle or runs out of the pocket and pick up, that first down with his legs. And there was a lot of first downs to be had in Nussmeier's career if he would have been willing to use his legs more, but he just hasn't been willing to do it. And so I think Michael Van Buren can be Jaden Daniel right? Like, I'm not comparing him to Jaden Daniels, but he can give you that ability to he can torch the defense with his legs, and he doesn't have a bad arm either. So, maybe keep him around unless LSU is going to be looking to get somebody out of the transfer portal. They don't have any quarterbacks committed for the 2026 class. And so I think you got to try to keep Michael Van Buren around. He has a lot of games under his belt. He started a few games when he played in Mississippi. He's played a few games here at LSU now. So I think you got to give him a fair shake in the offseason in the spring. Give him all of the snaps with the ones and see what you got in the kid. I think you definitely got to give him a shot. But all right, gonna wrap it up. LSU, Frank Wilson, he get his first win as the interim coach in Death Valley. Rivalry game, battle for the Golden Boot, Arkansas versus LSU. They win. They move to 6-4. And next man up, right? Next man up. I think who they got. They got Arkansas. No, I think LSU's next game is versus LSU's next game. Okay, Western Kentucky. So LSU has Western Kentucky next, so that's an opportunity for them to be able to move to 7-4. They should win that game, and then you finish off the season with Oklahoma. But y'all let me know in the comment section below, how did y'all like this LSU performance? You're proud of them? You're not proud of them? Let me know what your thoughts and all of that. Let me know also, if you're not an LSU fan, let me know what you just thought about college football this Saturday. Real weird Saturday. You got State Trooper committing assault on South Carolina players. You got Alabama losing to Oklahoma. So y'all let me know in the comment section. When I turned off the game, Texas was getting destroyed by Georgia. So y'all let me in the comment section what y'all thought about this Saturday and LSU. All right, until next time, I'm out.